Close your eyes and picture this. A drum beat so loud traffic literally stops. So infectious strangers start dancing in the street. And so unmistakably Brazilian that 3 notes in you're grinning. Yep, that's home. Now twist the scene. That same beat could once land you in handcuffs. 90 years back, cops kicked doors off hinges, just for playing it. Kids learned to slide drums under floorboards like contraband chocolates. One neighborhood paper even ran a headline, "Tap this rhythm, go to jail." Fast forward, those same drums now open the biggest party on the planet. So how does a rhythm go from lock it up to let it ring? It's not a music story. It's a story about a community that refused to mute itself. This is the forbidden rhythm that conquered Brazil. You might know it as Samba. Now open your eyes. This is Rio de Janeiro. This is Copacabana Palace. If you want a seat on the beach for New Year's Eve, arrive early. Secure your spot and watch karaokes and tourists count down to 2024. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Whoa. Are those fireworks? Yep. And if those fireworks suddenly stop, don't worry, you haven't broken the spell. That rhythm isn't going anywhere. In fact, listen closely. Do you hear it? That's the heart of Rio. Every February, it pulses into life and spills into the streets. It's hard to place the source, but everyone dances to it. That's because this story starts with enslaved people in Angola and the Congo. When Brazil finally abolished slavery in 1888, it was a move more symbolic than real. Afro-Brazilians remained trapped by poverty and prejudice, but they brought something no one could legislate: their music. As freed people swarmed Rio's hillsides, they carried instruments like the atabaque, the djembe, the secundo, the dundun, the conga, and maybe my favorite, the pandeiro, a small hand drum like a tambourine. At night, they gathered in the cramped courtyards between homes, cramped but not cramped enough to keep the music down. So it spilled into the streets, filling the air with samba de roda, the circle dance of Bahia. The rhythmic call and response made everyone a musician and everyone a dancer. It was joy. It was protest. It was forbidden. To the police, it smelled like rebellion. So they outlawed the drums, and instead of stopping the music, the ban fueled it. Musicians slipped into toreros, Afro-religious spaces disguised as candomblé houses, and slipped the beat beneath Catholic chants. Music historian Luis Fernando da Costa calls it playing dumb. But these communities weren't dumb. They were smart, resilient, and savvy. They'd been enduring and adapting since the days of slavery, and they knew they couldn't fight the police in court, so they fought back with rhythm. Enter the Tias Baianas, the original Bahian aunties who ran boarding houses in downtown Rio. Tia Chiata, Tia Amelia, Tia Persiliana, names that should be on billboards, fed musicians, stashed their drums, and turned their living rooms into all-night jam labs. And there in one such kitchen around 1916, Donga and Mauro de Almeida scribbled "Pelo Telefone" on a napkin. The song would become the anthem of Rio. Later, that same year, they headed to a shop downtown and dropped the song on a brand new 78 RPM record. The first pressing sold out before it hit the turntable. On a Saturday night in Rio, everyone stopped mid-stride. The forbidden rhythm had snuck into every gramophone in the city. But records weren't enough. They couldn't rehearse, couldn't parade, couldn't put their own stamp on the city. So the musicians took their music to the streets. On Friday nights, workers poured out of factories and shops. Dock workers, waiters, servants, shoe shiners, all armed with drums, tambourines, triangles, and homemade horns. They rehearsed, they paraded, they played for tips, they played for joy. The beat snaked through narrow alleys and onto wider avenues. Newspapers sneered, calling it noise for illiterates. Some folks called it Samba, others called it Mac 6, but everyone called it contagious. And while the music swelled, the police presence did too. Cops circled on horses, ready to break it up. Bands played on, drums slung high on their backs. Sometimes the raids were bad, really bad, drums smashed, bodies jailed, crowds running for cover. But every weekend, the beat still came back, even if it started with just one snare drum on a fire escape. And then it turned. The 1930s brought a brutal dictator to Brazil, Getulio Vargas, aka Vargas the Short or Vargas the Bad. He ruled like an emperor, idolized by some, feared by most. But he needed a people's music, something to stick to his regime better than his revolting mustache. Enter Samba. In 1935, he made a deal with the mayor of Rio. The city would stamp official permits for the first desfile, yes, an actual parade, down Avenida Rio Branco. Musicians could play for Vargas, but they could also parade. For everyone else, the next day, repression flipped to sponsorship. Suddenly, Rio's schools had budgets, as long as they marched under patriotic themes. In exchange, newspapers went from sneering to headlining. And many musicians just laughed. Fine, play for the people, let the people pay. The sound once chased by batons now echoed under marble balconies. Rio's schools had turned into heavyweights. Mangueira, green as the hillside it calls home, painted the entire hill to match its flag. Portela, sky blue from Oswaldo Cruz across the tracks, boasted composers who rhymed faster than express trains. Every school became a neighborhood heart. Soccer club, credit union, family tree in one. They fought over the best ala das Baianas, those elder queens swirling hoop skirts in honor of the tias. They battled through their yearly enredo, spinning stories of slavery, of heroes like Zumbi dos Palmares, or, my favorite, of politicians who tried to censor them. Middle-class cariocas who once locked their doors now paid scalper prices for bleacher seats. Samba had become Rio's Super Bowl, except every player grew up 3 blocks away. By the 1970s, Oscar Niemeyer's half-mile Sambodrome funneled 80,000 performers past global cameras. Tourists flew in from Sweden, from Japan, just to sweat beside locals. Schools answered with floats tall as apartment blocks, bikinis dripping Swarovski, percussion sections that rattled windows 3 hills over. Beneath the sequins, the work never stopped. Each school kept a social wing, literacy classes, vaccination drives, Samba kindergartens where toddlers learned the surdo before the ABCs. Portela bought dialysis machines. Mangueira paid college tuitions. The rhythm, once punishable by law, now lifted kids from favelas into universities and boardrooms. These days, gray-haired sambistas, old guard jackets heavy with parade patches, sit in the quadra, sipping cachaça and trading stories of old police chases. They even smile when the new kids rush the beat. Why? Because they know evolution keeps the drum alive. Bale Funk samples samba loops, pop star Anita drops a Teleco Tico remix. Rio's 2024 Carnival theme by Mangueira shouts out Afro-Brazilian trans women, proof the schools still boost voices from the margins. The drums aren't contraband anymore, they're homework. Brazil's Ministry of Culture lists samba as national heritage, and UNESCO calls it intangible cultural treasure. As for me, I'll take the word of Mestre Paulinho, a teacher from the heart of Rio. Samba isn't just music, it's a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world. And if that's true, then every February, when the first surdo booms at dawn, all of us watching are reminded that culture can be outlawed, but never silenced. If this story rewired how you hear that carnival beat, hit subscribe. There's more history hiding in plain sight. Share it with the friend who still thinks samba is just party music, and tell me in the comments which school colors you'd rock. Until then, keep tapping the rhythm that refused to stay silent. Thanks for watching. See you next time.